Russia is hitting harder and deeper. A massive overnight strike crippled one of Ukraine's most strategic military air bases. Now, in a big development, Trump says Putin has 12 days to end the war in Ukraine.
The war has entered an ominous new chapter. Recent weeks have seen Russia clawing back territory, pushing Ukrainian forces back from key front lines. In Donetsk and Luhansk, Kharkiv's outskirts are now bracing under renewed artillery fire. And in the southeast, Russian gains threaten to strangle Ukrainian supply routes. These are the new images released by Russian Defense Ministry, showing Russian forces unleashing Tos-2 Flamethrowers, a thermobaric weapon designed to inflict maximum destruction. These flamethrowers fire rockets that disperse explosive aerosols, which detonate on impact, creating massive high-pressure blasts. In a calculated overnight barrage, Russia launched hundreds of drones and 7 missiles, striking hard at western Ukraine's Starokonstiantyev air base, which, according to reports, is a base for NATO-supplied F-16 fighter jets. The strike didn't stop at Ukraine's borders. Poland scrambled fighter jets in response to the wave of Russian drones veering close to NATO airspace, another ominous escalation. The US President Donald Trump, who is in UK, says he is reducing the 50-day deadline he set for Russian President Vladimir Putin to agree to a deal on Ukraine.
I'm disappointed in President Putin. Very disappointed in him. So we're going to have to look, and I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number, because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen.
On the ground, Russian forces are continuing to advance. With every new assault, Russia's footprint grows and the peril spreads far beyond Ukrainian soil. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Mr. Peter Kuznick is a professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. Professor Kuznick is now joining us live from Washington, D.C. Professor, thanks for your time. What do you think would change after 12 days? Will there be fresh sanctions, or will President Trump send the long-range missiles to Ukraine, which could possibly alter the trajectory of the war?
What's going to happen in the next 12 days is that Putin will be taking more and more of Ukrainian territory. The Russians are on the offensive. It looks like they're very close to taking Pokrovsk, which they've been after for a long time. That will tremendously strengthen their position in the east. So Ukraine is in a weak position. Ukrainian soldiers are demoralized. Many of them have been fighting for more than 3 years now. The desertion rates are skyrocketing. Overall, disaffection with the leadership in Ukraine is growing. 70% of the Ukrainian people in the latest polls think that the Ukrainian leadership is enriching itself in the war. And so the morale is very bad in Ukraine right now. And Russia is very much on the offensive. So the situation in 12 days, there is more talk now about the possibility that Ukraine will collapse. It's not going to happen in 12 days. But Putin sees right now that he's in a strong position and he's trying to win this militarily. The world would like to see a ceasefire, but that's going to require concessions on the part of Ukraine. Putin is demanding full control of the 4 oblasts that he claimed and now is incorporated into Russia. The Ukrainians, while Luhansk is entirely at this point in Russian hands, the other 3 oblasts aren't. So there's some negotiation that's potential about that. Ukraine will have to be neutral. Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO. And there are other things that they're debating at this point.
Professor Kuznik, why do you think Trump is now changing his stance on Ukraine? He has been against sending weapons and aid to the war-torn country. Could that also change?
A lot of what we're seeing now, in terms of what Trump is doing on all fronts, is to try to distract from the scandal at home, which is an increasing controversy here, and that's the Epstein scandal. Trump has betrayed his base, and they are up in arms. They are very, very angry right now. So Trump has done several things to try to deflect attention. This is changing now to a 10 to 12-day deadline is one of the things. Threatening to prosecute Obama for treason is another thing. There have been a series of attempts, but Trump has been strangely unable to deflect attention from the Epstein scandal. We know from a lot of sources that he is furious. He's fuming about this, but he can't change the discussion right now. So this seems to be another in a series of attempts to deflect attention away from the Epstein scandal, which is landing him in hot water, not only with the country, but with his own MAGA base.
Professor Kuznik, finally and very quickly, Trump promised patriots about 2 weeks ago, but still there's no clarity when Ukraine would get them. How do you see that situation unfolding?
Not just patriots, there were other munitions that he was providing, other rockets and missiles. But Zelensky claims that Germany and Norway have given financing for 3 Patriot systems. He's in discussions with the Dutch. They want to get 10 Patriot systems overall. So 3 are apparently on the way. The U.S. says it will provide them, but they want Europeans to pay for them. That seems to be in the works, but we don't have any clarity on how quickly they're going to be delivered. And since Ukraine is in such a weak position now, an almost desperate position, if they're not delivered very quickly, then they're not going to be of any meaningful use. So the U.S. is trying to speed that up, but and give some from America's own stockpiles that will then be replenished. But what Ukraine is facing now goes much deeper than that, the crisis that they're facing. And if Russia does take Pokrovsk in the next few days or week or so, then Ukraine's position militarily in the battlefield will be even weaker, dramatically so.
All right. Professor Kuznik, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for talking to us today. We'll have to leave it there.
Thanks for having me.